So I just realized that I never posted this video talking about Act 4, Scene 2. So I'll go ahead and do that one really quickly and then head into Act 5, Scene 1. So in Act 4, we begin in Macduff's castle. William, go back upstairs. No, go back upstairs.
Are you making a clip video?
I'm talking to my big girls right now. You have to go upstairs and take your bath.
Coming!
Sorry. So we open into Macduff's castle. We know that Macbeth is getting ready to attack this castle. That was his plan at the end of his conversation with the witches, that he's going to seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, etc. And we also know that Macduff is gone. Macduff has gone to England. He's gone to presumably bring back Malcolm so that he can fight Macbeth for the throne of Scotland. And so when we open to this castle, we see Lady Macduff, her young son, and she's speaking with Ross. And Ross, that we will learn, is a kinsman of Lady Macduff, that they are related in some way. Now, just as Macduff is the foil to Macbeth, well, the same is true for their wives. So Lady Macduff is presented to us as kind of the epitome of Elizabethan virtue of womanhood and motherhood, and she's everything that Lady Macbeth is not. So while Lady Macbeth is the person who is saying that she will, pluck the baby and dash his brains out, Lady Macduff is sitting there caring for her child. So they begin this conversation with Lady Macduff and Ross, and she's very angry. She says, what was it that would make him fly the land? Why would her husband leave her? Now, she seems angry with her husband here. She goes on to say, he loves us not. What madness was it that would make him leave his wife, his babes, his mansion, and his titles? She says, the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, would fight her loved ones in her nest against the owl. And what we begin to see from Lady Macduff here is that it's not anger that's motivating this, it's fear. She's afraid. She's alone in this castle. Scotland is in chaos. There's reports of murder, of death. They have a ruler that's unstable. She probably knows that her husband is being targeted in some way, and she's frightened. And when you're frightened, it's easy to lash out in anger. And I think that's really what we see here. Now, she makes some pretty bold claims herself about her commitment to her family when she says that the wren, the most diminutive of birds, would fight her loved ones in her nest against the owl. And she seems to be saying there that, she, a woman, a weak woman, would do anything in her power to protect her family. And we're to presume that the owl, of course, would be Macbeth attacking that innocence. Ross takes his leave of her, and he leaves and says, that the worst will come to an end or else turn upward. And essentially he's saying it can't get any worse. It's got to go up from here. But he leaves, and she's alone with her son. And it's in those moments when she's alone with her son that we really begin to see Lady Macduff as a mother. She's affectionate with her son, and she's sweet with her son. She does say a few lines. She says, your father's dead, and now what will you do? And of course the child responds and says, he's not dead. Nay, what will you do for a husband? That line seems cruel. I mean, if we take it just at face value, that's a harsh, horrible thing to say to a child, that your father's dead. But then we have to look at the context, and then we have to look at why she might be saying that. And the reason that she might be saying that is because she doesn't want to give him false hope. Macduff could die. And she doesn't want to tell him that everything could be okay when that's not necessarily a guarantee. So even there, we see the protection coming from her. Even there, we see that she's doing these things for a reason. And then they have this lovely little interchange here about honest men and traitors. And he asks if his father was a traitor. And she says, why, yes, he was. And the son replies, well, what is a traitor? And she says, well, one who swears and lies. And they go back and forth a little bit here. And finally, the son says, you know, there are more traitors than there are honest men. So the traitors should beat up the honest men and hang up them instead. And it's funny. And it's meant to be funny. And we, the audience, view that little boy, and we love him, right? I mean, like, he's this cute little kid. He's precocious. He's having these funny interchanges with his mother. He is just the epitome of innocence. And we see his mother trying to teach him right from wrong. I mean, that's the whole discussion of the honest men and the traitors. She's trying to teach him morality. You know, that's one of the greatest things that a parent can do is to teach the child, you know, what's right. And then a messenger enters. And the messenger says, hence with your little ones, be not found here. The messenger knows that Macbeth's men are on their way, and yet he delivers this message and leaves. He doesn't stay to defend them. And as he leaves, Lady Macduff is kind of incredulous. She says, whither shall I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now, I am of this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. And when she says that, of course, what she's paraphrasing is fair is foul and foul is fair. She remembers that in this world of chaos where things have been turned upside down, sometimes people who do bad things are given rewards. And sometimes people who seek to do right are punished. And as she says that, then the murderers enter. They kill the son on stage. And as Lady Macduff screams, murder, 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 she's killed as well. And as those two are killed, the audience is angry and the audience wants blood. Absolute blood. And the blood they want is Macbeth's.